You know, now that I think about it, we don't really know what new Nintendo Switch games are after July, right? Like, I know we still have Metroid Prime, but there ain't no way that's coming out before the end of the summer. Sure, we do have Pikmin 4 as well, that's gonna be around summer too, but we usually do know what we're getting well into the fall season. It makes me wonder if Nintendo is gearing up for something big, like a big Nintendo Direct this summer, even if they say they're not going to E3 and it's not in their plans. Hey guys, it's Rob here, and welcome back to the RoboChan Show, where we take the gaming news format that channels like Spawnwood or Arlo do, add a dash of animation and some cool editing on top to bring you your gaming news, leaks, and rumors in a fresh new way. If you're new here and want to be kept up on everything gaming, make sure you subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you enjoy the video and dislike if not, and have that notification bell on so you know when I upload. So it seems that we do have some new Nintendo Switch leaks about the Nintendo Switch 2 or Nintendo Switch Pro or whatever Nintendo is gonna be calling this, and there is some very interesting information on this potential Nintendo Switch leak. Now remember, all Nintendo Switch leaks are not real. They could be fake, they could be complete BS, so always remember that when going into these things. The same user has previously leaked some Pokemon information that turned out to be accurate, so dismissing all of this information would probably not be such a good idea. So what can we expect from this new console? And then they list what they can expect from the new console according to this Nintendo Switch leak. So the first one on the list is codenamed Hawk/HWK, and the dev kit for this Nintendo Switch 2 is codenamed HTW. Now if you guys didn't know, usually these dev kits do have code names and internal names when they are making these consoles, so it's no surprise that the Nintendo Switch 2, if it's real, would have one. Now it also says it has some small gimmicks alongside the Switch's hybrid features. So according to this Nintendo Switch leak, it seems that they're still sticking with the portable aspect of the Nintendo Switch that we currently have, which is something that I think is very important. I love the fact that we can go out and take the Switch out of the dock and still play the very same game. I think that's one of the great things about the Nintendo Switch and something that's helping it sell very, very well. So much so that it might even become the best-selling console of all time, or at least hit that number 2. Now according to this leak, it says on the list that it's comparable to the PS4 in terms of performance. Now I think that's something we should expect from this Nintendo Switch 2 if it does end up being real, because I think one thing that we have to keep in mind is that Nintendo typically likes to keep down cost of their consoles. And not only their consoles, but their handhelds as well, and the reason behind this is so they can sell more units. And not only that, but they want to be more affordable for people in lower income households. And if they were to do some crazy power 4K handheld or whatever you're thinking that's going to be more powerful than the base PS4 or even PS4 Pro, I think it's going to cost a lot more money. So I think they do want to keep that cost down, and the power comparable of a PS4 makes a lot of sense. Now next on the list, it says it's going to have a 7-inch 1080p OLED screen, and keep in mind that this is going to be a 7-inch screen. It's going to be a small screen, so even though it's 1080p, it's going to be a lot crisper and a lot sharper than say when you're playing it on TV. Now it's also going to support DLSS, which is huge because that's going to make the picture more crisper, more cleaner, and it's going to make the games run better. And speaking of on TV, apparently on this Nintendo Switch leak for the Nintendo Switch 2, it says 4K at 30 FPS seems doable. Now I'm in the mindset that I don't really need 4K on my Nintendo games. I would love it, don't get me wrong, it would be like an extra perk, but I don't need it. So if they want to put that down to say 1440p and then they raise it to 60 FPS, I think that would be just much better, or even 1080p if they can't hit that, and 60 FPS. I'd rather have a clear, sharp image and high FPS at 60 FPS, and stable, by the way, no hiccups. Now also on this Nintendo Switch leak, it says Nintendo provided screenshots of the Star Fox-ish tech demo to show off its pros and cons. Ray tracing support, don't expect it to see much. I think that's something that we definitely need to keep in mind too. I don't think even if it does have ray tracing, I don't think it's going to be as heavily used in games when you compare it to the PS5 and Xbox Series X. I think that's something we definitely should be expecting here. Now according to this Nintendo Switch leak, it says it's going to have 16 gigabytes of RAM, 2 gigabytes of intended OS. Games are targeting 10 gigabytes. Now when it comes to Nintendo Switch games, I think we do need a better cartridge, one that holds more so we can have have the full game on the cartridge. And not only that, but if these are gonna be 4K files, you gotta remember that they're gonna be much larger than usual. I mean, some games on the PS5 and Xbox Series X are 100 gigabytes. So how much memory is the base Nintendo Switch gonna have, and are we gonna be able to use the memory cards that we have in our current Nintendo Switch? Well, I think that comes down to if Nintendo is still gonna support the current Nintendo Switch, which I have no doubt in my mind that they're gonna do, because in the investor meeting they said they wanted to do more OLEDs, and this was pre-Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom OLED. In the investor meeting, they said that they wanted to do more OLEDs next fiscal year, and next fiscal year we're currently in right now, and that started in March. And what do you know? We got the Tears of the Kingdom OLED. They wouldn't be making more OLEDs if they weren't planning on providing more support and more new Nintendo Switch games for those games. So for those who are kind of worried that Nintendo was gonna not support the current Nintendo Switch with the Nintendo Switch Lite and OLED and the original Nintendo Switch, I don't think you have to worry too much. Now, when it comes to the cartridges for this Nintendo Switch 2, it says the cartridges will be a little wider than the Switches, and the height and depth are unchanged or very similar to the original Nintendo Switch. So this does make me wonder if there are gonna be some Nintendo Switch Pro or Nintendo Switch 2 specific games that only play on that because the original Nintendo Switch just can't run it or can't run it well enough. But moving on, it says some files can be loaded extra quickly. Common decompression types are supported, and new ones, HLZ. Now, I don't know what that means because I don't know a lot of this tech speak, most of it. I do understand some of it, but that part I don't understand. So if someone can explain that in the comment section below, that would be fantastic. I mean, I understand the loading part, but the HLZ I don't understand. And the next one has me so excited for the current Nintendo Switch and future Nintendo Switch, and not only that, but the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It says next-gen patches are possible. Nintendo's been pushing next-gen exclusives. So again, this is gonna be a next-gen Nintendo Switch, and games that aren't gonna be playable on the current Nintendo Switch seem to be what's gonna happen according to this Nintendo Switch leak. Now keep in mind, I think Nintendo is still gonna support the current Nintendo Switch. I think games are still gonna hit those consoles. I think there's just gonna be some games that maybe don't hit this Nintendo Switch, and I think that's a sacrifice we're gonna have for a more powerful Nintendo Switch that can do more. Because if you have the power to play with, and if you can put these games on the Nintendo Switch, and even if the previous consoles can't run them, why wouldn't you? Why would you not do that? It's more money and more copies sold and more Nintendo Switches, and another reason to buy into this more expensive Nintendo Switch, because I guarantee it's gonna cost more than the current Nintendo Switch. Or another thing that could happen is that Nintendo can reduce the price of the current Nintendo Switches and then have the same price for the current Nintendo Switch but for the new Switch. So there's gonna be a cheaper entry for Nintendo Switch owners, and eventually maybe they'll buy a Nintendo Switch 2. And we know that Nintendo said that a lot of people do have multiple Nintendo Switches. I've asked this on the channel twice, and a lot of you have jumped down in the comment section and said, yeah, I have multiple Switches in the house. Which, by the way, tell me in the comment section how many Switches you have. Let's see if that's still true. Personally, I do want another Nintendo Switch. I've had my current Nintendo Switch since launch, so hopefully eventually I can get a new one. Who knows, maybe my next Nintendo Switch is gonna be the Switch 2, although that Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom OLED, I kinda do want that too. And next up, it says that third parties haven't seen the CCDs. Switch Lites were given out as placeholders. It says each CCD can link to one user's profile, allowing the CCD to act as the middleman for comms between its linked system and other systems / CCDs. Now, for those who don't know what a CCD is, I think they're talking about the motion sensor in the Joy-Con. I might be wrong on that. It's either that or the next line says codenamed asynchronization encounter communication, so I'm wondering if this is kind of like a Street Pass. I mean, how insane would that be if they add Street Pass on the Nintendo Switch 2 and updated the current Nintendo Switch and added that on? That would be really great. And moving on, it says games can't rely on up-to-date info and should allow multiple responses with complicated things. There is some talk of streaming multiple games to smartphones. That would be pretty interesting as well. I mean, it's already portable, so why would you want to stream games to a smartphone? That's kind of weird. And here's the biggie, expected to launch in the second half of 2023. Now, keep in mind that this was from 4chan, and yes, sometimes from 4chan, they do get some things right. Now, it was currently removed from the website too, so if you go to the link, it just doesn't appear, I'm guessing, if it was removed. So keep that in mind as well. It was removed, and maybe it's removed because Nintendo got them. The Nintendo ninjas came in and caught the person who leaked this information. Now, of course, always, it could be fake. That's always a possibility. In fact, I would just consider this fake, or kind of consider it speculation for now until something happens. Because if it is true that it could release in the back half of 2023, more than likely, we could see a reveal at maybe a June Nintendo Direct, which would be kind of crazy and not too far off, because we are pretty far into the Nintendo Switch's lifetime, and this would still be within the family of Nintendo Switches, not a whole new console. So bringing in another console that acts as just another Switch, kind of like the 3DS, how we had the new 3DS, it's essentially going to be a new Nintendo Switch, which I wouldn't doubt that's what they would call it. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys leave a like and of course share it around, and leave your thoughts on this in the comment section below on what you guys think about this. And if you want to watch more of my content, you can click the top left corner of this video, or you can click one of these two videos right here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.